Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be watching a video called Truth or Myth, Dutch React to Stereotypes.
I think I've lost a bit of my directness by living abroad, but well, how about you?
Well, I lost some friends while living abroad.
What? Direct.
I hope not, but I'm afraid so.
Dutch are very, very direct. And
Very straight to the point.
yeah, I don't know, we just say what we think to people.
Yeah.
My idea is always good to just be direct. Like, it would be way more efficient.
Directness, yes. That's definitely a thing. I noticed this when I had to work in the UK. There, if you get feedback, it's like, oh, that's excellent. I really love it. That's amazing. But then you could take it into a slightly different direction. In the Netherlands, you would just say, that's really bad. We should fix this. This is awful.
They say they had the best day ever and they had the best coffee in the world, and we're just like, oh yeah, we had a good day, and just
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah.
To make things better or seem better than they actually are.
I like it, but I'm Dutch, so yeah.
It makes you rude, but it's actually, it's nice because people know where they stand.
People are direct and they're like honest with me. I can better handle that.
Of course they like this. They're Dutch. I just mentioned it. Yeah, they're tall and they're blonde.
You're the blonde one. You have the blue eyes.
Yeah,
So we are
we got them all.
Yes.
Yeah, but we are not.
We drink so much milk.
Oh my god, he's so tall.
Can I stand up as well?
Yes.
Maybe I'm a bit taller. I'm not sure.
Well, maybe it's a girl.
You look like giants.
I think not so much, but now I've been to a lot of different countries. I think yes.
They're tall, yeah.
And blonde.
They're definitely very tall. Oh, that's where it comes from?
You can go first.
Oh my god, silence.
The old things, that's very Dutch. Yeah.
Conscious about money?
Oh my god, they are.
Yeah, we
They're
are.
cheap.
Sorry. My father is Indonesian and my mother is Dutch. And the grandmother from an Indonesian side, she always told me like, hey, here you have €5, share it with your friends and go out, you know, and do things. And my Dutch grandma always said, here you have €5. Don't share it. Keep it to yourself.
I saw one time a shop in Rome. It was called Expensive. If they would put a shop in Amsterdam with the name Expensive, nobody would enter the fucking shop.
Going to a restaurant and buying wine, you don't look at which wines are nice, but which one is cheapest, has the most alcohol in it. And that's just the Dutch way of thinking, I think.
If you say that it was very expensive, then you are a bitch.
I definitely prefer to go Dutch, to split. It makes me feel more comfortable.
We like to go Dutch. That's a normal thing in the Netherlands.
That's what it
Dutch
comes
we have
from.
an app called Tikkie. And so if you buy something and it's about €20, then you send a Tikkie for €10 so the other one can pay.
It's
And
the best thing ever. It's really convenient.
They're like, yeah, we're cheap. We love it. They get, what, really?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not true.
Okay, no one
every
agrees.
Dutch person has tried weed
Yeah.
once in her
Yeah.
lifetime.
When I lived in Holland, I never get stoned. Yeah, when I was 15, then I tried it. By the time you're getting 18, 19, you're just
This is
over
a
it.
novelty.
My international friends smoke more than my Dutch friends for sure.
Apparently the French are like, whoa, they're like way up top. And then the Netherlands is like, I don't know, number 6 or whatever.
When you're young, you try it out. But
Yeah.
I'm not like that kind of person, and I think there's a lot of Dutch people that are
Yeah,
same in
because-
that way as well.
Yeah, it's legal, so when it comes to like you're 18, you just don't care. I would agree. I'm thinking that's so
Yeah,
true.
that's true. I'm here by bike.
Definitely.
I miss my bike.
I'm the weirdo who lived in Amsterdam for 4 years and didn't have a bike. And every time I say that, Dutch people are like, what's wrong with you?
So true.
I know.
We cannot
What?
get around it.
Couldn't be more true. Yeah, there are actually more bicycles in Amsterdam than there are people.
I don't understand how it
Once you
works.
turn 3, 4 years old, you just get a bike for your birthday, or you have a bike already.
It's your first gift.
People are really surprised about that elsewhere, but we can actually drink alcohol and afterwards go home.
Yeah.
So watch out if you go there, because you'll be hit by a bicycle.
Oh, watch out for the tourists going on bikes.
Yeah, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
it's also
Yeah.
cheap.
Very cheap.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
cheap
give
and
no
convenient.
gas.
Oh, where you from? in the Netherlands and say, oh, Amsterdam, oh, smoke weed, smoke weed.
It's about the weed smoking, that we always are, that we are always stoned. That's getting annoying.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
so
they
where
hate
you're
it.
from? Amsterdam? No. Well, basically.
Never mind.
Never mind.
You say, no, I'm from the north of Holland. Oh, I love Amsterdam.
They think that the Netherlands is Amsterdam and that Amsterdam is the Netherlands, and there's nothing else.
True.
Yeah.
You from Amsterdam?
Okay.
We really appreciate honesty.
They're
We
direct.
really think that that's the way to go.
Everyone thinks that all Dutch people talk English very well, but that's not true.
That we're not cheap.
But
You just-
Dutch is Netherlands, and Deutsch and Dutch is German.
German.
We are great
Yeah.
campers. I would love to share this actually. A lot of people don't know this.
We're innovative. It is
Yeah.
true. We have a technical university in Delft, and they come up with some pretty smart shit every year. But
I agree.
I partnered up with two of my friends. One of them is right here. One of them is behind the camera. I met them here in Lisbon while living my own digital nomad life. Hashtag digital nomad life. So what they do is something really cool. They organize digital nomad road trips around different countries. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we it sounds like road trips, and it's not any road trips. It's the best fucking road trips for digital nomads. And the reason why is because we do something that no other company does. And we have like a secret weapon that we are able to do the road trips that no one else does. So if you want to know what it is, visit our website.
That's so stupid,
It's a
Andreas.
cliffhanger.
It's
It's a
stupid.
cliffhanger.
No, it's ridiculous.
Okay, so I have to say the first thing that really did shocked me was the man that said that he's Dutch and he lived in Amsterdam and he didn't own a bike for like the 5 years that he lived in Amsterdam, because all of them, even, and he said it himself. It's like people were like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, you're such a weirdo. How come you don't have a bike? Because again, it's like the number one thing that I think Dutch people are known for, like besides like the windmills, the clocks, and the cheese. Maybe like that's I think that's next. Like it's the bicycles. So it's like, no, I didn't own a bike. I'm wondering like how his life was like, because it's like in my mind it's impossible to like get around. Obviously as a tourist, like it's different because obviously there are other options. But if you're Dutch people living in Amsterdam, I'm thinking like it's hard to imagine for me like how life would be like without a bike, because I'm like imagining like, well, your whole life, like your whole, it's your method of transport, your whole life like revolves around it. So how do you move around like without it? Maybe I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe he worked from home and like I don't know, he walked everywhere, but like still like he needed to like, I don't know, go out to a bar or go out with friends, I don't know, like go out on the weekends. And he didn't, and he was like, he did it like by bus, I don't know. But he really surprised me, because again, it's like, it's not a myth, but he's like the outsider here. He's like, I've never heard of this. But it's funny that also, I think it's correlates a little bit with the cheap thing, that they were like, yes, we're cheap. It's like, they don't have any qualms mentioning, they're like, no, we admit it, we are super cheap. It never had occurred to me before, then the term going Dutch, it's because of Dutch people. I've never, but now it's like, oh my god, it just dawned on me. Of course it is, because it's like, well, yeah, you're going Dutch, like you're splitting the thing and the bill, and it's like, oh my god, so that's what it comes from. But I'm wondering like how was it originated, because obviously for them it's normal, it's not Dutch, it's Dutch for people in the other places. So maybe it was because of like Dutch immigration, and they were like, oh, we're splitting the bill. It's not like you're paying, the whole, hey, I pay now and then you pay later. It's like, no, we're splitting it right now, and that's why it's called going Dutch. It's so funny, but I never really thought about it. It's like, I just thought it was just like a term or something. It's like, no, of course that's where it comes from, but I've never actually heard of Dutch people being cheap, but apparently it's a thing. And they're like, no, we know, we're super cheap. So it's like, okay, well, good to know, I guess. But it's funny that they're all like, no. And I think also it's like the whole thing, because the whole like being cheap, I think also correlates to the directness of Dutch people in general, that they're all like, again, and they're like, yeah, we prefer it like that. It's like, of course you would say that, you're Dutch. It's like they're direct and they don't really sugarcoat things. They're like, no, we'll let you know, like, hey, this is it, like this is wrong or this is good, but like we'll let you know. It's not like, hey, you know, like that was good. However, let's try it again, like one more time with this. It's like, no, they'll tell you like this sucks, do it again. It's like, and they're like, we prefer it like that. It's like, yes, of course, it's your culture, and that's, if you grew up with that, of course you're not gonna think it's weird. You're gonna think the weird thing, it's just like go around in circles to sort of like lessen the blow. But they're like, no, it's better like that. It's like, it's funny, of course, I'll say that. And they were all like, we prefer it that way. It's like, yes, of course. But it's like they're all very direct, and you know, they're cutting right to the chase. So again, it makes sense. The whole going Dutch and the honesty, their directness, the being cheap, like everything's very like straightforward. So it's like, yeah, well, you know, all those myths are not really myths. So it's like everything was true. I think the only one that was sort of like it's a myth is the fact that everyone smokes weed. But it's like, well, and again, I can see why. But I mean, you know, it's like, well, yeah, because it's like legal. But I've never really get the sense of like people are stoned. Dutch people are stoned all the time. Like this is news to me that apparently it's something that they've heard a lot because they were like, we're so tired, please stop. So it's like, okay, apparently it's a thing. But it wouldn't occur to me just because I know that, again, it's like, it's losing the novelty. It's like, well, obviously some people smoke because this just, you know, it's not a monolith, but it's like, most of them were like, it's normal, it's whatever, it's not a big deal, and that's why, like, they treated it as such. So maybe, like, some people do, some people don't, whatever. But it's like, again, because it loses the novelty, and of course, like, by the time that you're an adult, you can decide of whether or not you actually like it, and it's not like, oh, you know, it's forbidden, so we're just gonna smoke all the time. So it's funny that it's like, well, yeah, but again, it makes sense. But also, I think the thing that is like, yes, absolutely, is, well, but not always, but you know, that's, I think, really funny, and because it is sort of like a myth, but you know, not really, is the fact that everyone's blonde and tall. Less so the being blonde, because again, there's like so many, like, not everyone's a blonde, but again, it's a stereotype. A lot of Dutch people are blonde, but not all of them. I agree. But the tall thing, I think, like, at least like 90% of Dutch people are super tall. That I do not believe it's a myth. It's absolutely true. And it's for both women and men. Like, they're just very tall people in general. And it's like, they were like, well, maybe, I don't know. And they stand up and they all look like giants. It's like, yes, you know, Dutch people in general, they do tend to be very tall. Not that there aren't shorter people in the Netherlands, but, you know, I think, you know, it's like, it's a thing. And it's a thing for a reason. And also, of course, the Amsterdam thing. It's like, oh, if you're not from Amsterdam, and when someone mentions like, hi, I'm Dutch, and they're like, oh, okay, so you're from Amsterdam, and it's like, no, I'm not from Amsterdam. It's like, oh, we don't really care. They don't really know anything about it. It's like, yeah, of course, you know that the Netherlands is not just Amsterdam, but I do think that that's the case for a lot of countries. It's like, you know, like the big city or the capital, and that's it. So it's like, well, I wouldn't, like, I know obviously for them it sucks because it's like, it's my country, or if I'm not from Amsterdam, of course I'm gonna be like a little offended. It's like, no, I come from another place. I come from another city. But I do think, like, foreigners in general, like, you have to agree that it's not just in the Netherlands, but just in any country, like, you tend to know the capital or the biggest city that tends to be the capital, and that's it. So it's like, well, you know, I wouldn't blame you if you wouldn't, like, know anything else. It's like, maybe just as the United States is probably, like, even though that is the capital, but it's like the biggest city. Like, when you think of the USA, you probably think of like LA or New York. You're not gonna be thinking of like Utah or something. So it's like, I get why people are like, oh, you're not from Amsterdam, so you don't really exist. And they're like, no, you know, there are some other places in the Netherlands. It's like, yes, but you only would know them if you have visited the Netherlands, or if you have some knowledge of this country. But most people, you know, they do not, because obviously most people do not know everything about every single country. But yeah, this was incredibly funny, and also kind of enlightening. Now I know where the term going Dutch is, and I know that Dutch people are very cheap, apparently. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!